Danny, what qualifies a player to be a punt returner, and why does Cedric Wilson fit that class? How about that?
There's so many things. Cedric's got a little bit of a history. Not a lot, but he's been constantly out there working, and just trying to find and have somebody who's always ready to go, which is sort of where it led us to Cedric. And he had some opportunities in this last game, and took advantage of them. Hopefully, we can keep building on that in the future.
And as far as the skill set, what are you, obviously good hands, but...
Yeah, but it's, good hands has nothing to do with catching punts. I mean, it's a completely different, tracking it, reading the nose, reading the spin, and you throw the elements into it. So it's really a different, skill set than just catching the football. Punts, kickoffs, passes, they're all different. But he's done a solid job, and hopefully he can keep building on that the more opportunities we get him.
Danny, I noticed week after week, Trent Sherfield leads offensive players in special team snaps. What makes him a good special teams player?
Well, when you look at his history, he's been a very good special teams player. It's the offensive snaps that have sort of transitioned for him this season, and it's a tough load. We've experienced that a little bit with Mac Hollins, where special teams guy who's offensive load builds, and that's sort of where we're at with Trent right now, and he's doing a good job on both phases.
We always have to ask you about the one special teams play, the fake punt this time. So what happened there?
That's a good play by them. We sort of played the percentages. With under 2 minutes, they're, were they willing to give us the ball inside the, in scoring range, and that's how they played the game. They played the game all out to win the football game. But we did some things where we got to hold our look a little bit longer, and then they made a good play.
That part of the field, you're not considering fake
Well,
punts?
you're always, you go to the track record of the coach, of the head coach, the special teams coach, the personnel. There's a lot of things that go into it, and what you're ready to play. We're, in that particular case, we're looking to try and get a score before the end of the half, but maybe not thinking the percentage are as high, with where the ball was, especially under 2 minutes, where they had played well, not want to maybe give us the lead there at the end of the half, but they made a good play.
They had a kick return in the game, correct? The Lions did?
They did.
What goes into the decision making to kick it short of the goal line?
There's a lot of things. It's the kicker, our coverage people. Where we're at with, how much certain guys are playing offense, defense, how fresh we are, who the returner is, what have they shown. So there's a lot of things that go into it. When we, think we may have an opportunity to make a play, and then sometimes the kick doesn't end up exactly where you want it, and that ties into people getting a return, which is, I think what's happened to us. So there's a lot of things that go into it.
I talked to a couple of players yesterday in the locker room who were rookies in 2019, and they said it was a really tough year, some super tough coaching that happened that year, and they compared it to this year and said, it's a complete 180. And, Tua has said as well that he's had to learn to be less hard on himself, because Daniel's style is to be really encouraging and positive and supporting. So I'm wondering, since you have the history here, you've been here for a while, have you as a coach had to change the way that you interact with players, or sort of, do what Tua is doing and try to be less hard on himself and less hard on others?
No, I think, number one, you got to be yourself. And, especially to your point, as I've been here, if I change who I am and how I approach the players, they're going to be like, oh, wait, what? This is not normal. So I think there's a myriad of ways to do things. Everybody's going to be themselves. And I think that's the beautiful thing of, I've been in this league for over 20 years. And, every coach has got to be true to who he is, because the players you're around them too much. They're too sharp. If you try and be somebody that you're truly not, they're going to read right through that. So, the fact and how guys are responding, that's part of taking coaching, of who's coaching. And some guys respond to different people, and that's part of the nuances of being a coach. Is you need to approach each player as an individual, not as an entire group, because certain things work with some guys that don't work with others.
Tua said, I think to Maria Taylor on his NBC interview a couple weeks ago, he said McDaniel was the same guy throughout the losses that you guys had this year. And that was something that kind of surprised him, because I think he might have been expecting, some change, or, because of the losses. So can you describe how McDaniel, led the team through those three games?
Again, I think he was true to himself. He was true to his beliefs, understanding what was going on, and, was it the work? Was it the performance? Was it a combination? And just being true to himself and belief in what what he's teaching, what we're asking the players to do, and then eventually performance you're hoping is going to take care of itself, and you get the ship righted.